This is Cranfield University. David Molian, who's a professor on the Business Growth Programme, regularly researches the SME, the small medium enterprise business sector. And what he finds is the majority of those business owners they grow, 45% of those grow through developing existing markets. So in our case, it would be talking to customers that we know and love and developing that. And then once that's all done, trying to find new customers who are just like them, who we'd love, we'd really get on well with. 45%. The rest try and do new stuff. You know, like always going for the new customers, new clients. Whereas the fastest growing SMEs stick to the knitting. That's what these knitting balls of wool are at the bottom. Between 65% and 88% really, really milk what they've already got. And that comes from account management. So, he calls it squeezing lemons. Has anyone heard that analogy? Yeah. Lemon squeezing. Catherine, share.
Well, how much can you get out of one client without working too hard at it?
In the nicest possible way.
I'm a customer I've dealt with for over 10 years.
Yes.
Last year I made 9 placements with them. And now I really have to find someone else because they really do not need me anymore because there really isn't much.
Sure, they can't have some part-timers.
Oh, yeah, it's automotive, so I'm waiting for all this jugular and rubber stuff to take off.
Fabulous.
But that's been going on for 10 years now.
The idea is, you know, when you cook, I don't cook, my husband does it, but apparently when you cook and you use lemon in your cooking, you will squeeze a bit of juice for that recipe. And then what do you do with the rest of the lemon? Not make gin and tonic, but, you know, what would you do with it next? Chuck it. Catherine would chuck it. Most people that cook, apparently, would wrap it in cling film or something like that and stick it in the fridge. And then they go back to it 3 months later, it's gone all mouldy. That's what this research says happens to your customers if you're not regularly looking after them. And not that you wouldn't when you've got jobs, etc., but it's about, as Emma says, being in touch with them and showing the love on a regular basis. This is the research. So ask ourselves, do our existing customers and people like them really, really understand everything we can offer them? Because at the time you get an opportunity to work with somebody, they might just want one aspect of what you can offer. You can do all this other stuff. You can do all this cross-selling, but they don't want to know about that. They want to know about what they want there and then. So it's about making sure you go back and remind them of other things, maybe, that would benefit them. Do we really understand them? Do you know what their strategic plans are for next year and the year after and the year after? Do you know where their market's going? Because the more you know, the more you can offer them. And do we reach them in every which way? Or is it, have we forgotten telephone? Or do we just email? Or do we include them on our newsletter or whatever marketing we use? And do we plan for the lifetime of these clients? And by that, I mean this. I hope you can see this. Okay, so the customer life cycle is a bit like if you imagine a relationship, so a marriage. Yeah, so you're courting. That's a really old-fashioned, I'm giving my age away here. So you're going out with someone. What's that called now by young people? What's it called, Louise? Anyway, it's the introduction. You're getting to know a customer. You're not necessarily dealing with them yet, but it's courtship. So you put in a lot of effort into this. You know, you've got clean socks, for example, making a real effort. And then you start to get to know and like each other. So maybe you'll get your first order. Oh, it's a date. Lovely. And you get your next date. Still a lot of effort. And then you start seeing each other regularly. So you get repetitive business, repeat business, your 9 placements this year. But then you start to take each other for granted. And it's the pipe and slippers time. And you forget to go out at least once a month to dinner or whatever it is you do, or wear clean socks, and you're saying, not that client again, and you've forgotten how much you wanted them in the first place. Now that can happen really easily. And what are your competitors doing all the time you're at that stage? Oh, they're courting them. They've got their clean socks. They're wining and dining them. And they're doing everything to show them the love that maybe you have forgotten to share. And then you lose them. You get divorced. Maybe. Unless you can bring back that romance. Do you like that one? Now, this was a real eye-opener. When my colleagues at Cranfield showed me this, nearly 70% of business-to-business customers, not saying it's just recruitment, but customers, will leave a supplier because they feel unloved. I don't care how often your consultants or you as consultants will hear, oh, we'll call you when we need you. You need to show they're in your mind, that without pestering. We don't want to stalk them, obviously, but maybe sharing some market information, because actually it's only 14% that don't like the service or the product, but it's perceived indifference. And here's an example. One of my clients has grown their business so well that some of the senior managers have become board directors, and they don't now manage client relationships, except they've recently realised they need to keep hold of some, because one of these directors accompanied one of the senior consultants out on a client meeting with one of their main clients, who spend probably about, 2 million a year with them in recruitment. And that client contact said to my client, I'm really glad to see you, Emma. Not you, it's another Emma. Because I thought you didn't care anymore. And I'm getting a great service, but I thought you didn't love me anymore. And he said it tongue-in-cheek, but he meant it, and she knew it. So whatever level you are, make sure you've got the right people having the right contact at the right times. And it may not be selling, it could be networking, it could be inviting them to things, having a coffee. Just show them the love. Yeah? Right, so this is all about account management, really helps here. So here's some technical stuff. Account management can work at any level. New clients, small clients, large clients. This is once you've got them on board, this is how you squeeze lemons in the nicest possible way. I like you over here. You're nice and laughy. Okay, so it's all about partnering with clients and working to set parameters and all of that. And it can be all official, but it can be really quite natural. So this is what we're going to do for you. This is how we work. We'll give you feedback. We'll try and enhance your brand for you. And what we expect in return is this. So it's partnering. You're making sure they're really happy. But it also includes adapting what you do to suit them within reason, and finding out if whatever else you can offer is going to be useful to them. This is how it's the quality audit, and it's keep going back that really works here. And identifying other potential clients within the business. Someone here said, we don't know who else is in the organisations. Well, this is how you do it. You go back, how's it going? Here's some feedback for you. This is what we've done, and this is what we've had back from you. How have you found the service then? What could we do to improve? What else could we do that you've not thought of? And you get all this brilliant feedback because you're brilliant recruiters. Great, so is there anyone else in the business that might? And you know there is, because you've done all your research on LinkedIn. You know exactly, or their website, you know exactly who you want to talk to. Who else could you introduce me to? You can ask. You can ask when they think you're fabulous, and they're telling you. But that's why account management really works. It's also about leadership. So if you've got a team running account manager, and you're running an account, you need to lead the team. Don't let them go off on, you manage it. You manage the relationship, and it is about business development, but it's mutually beneficial. It's not just all hard selling, it's for their benefit too. And an example of that is when I was running my own recruitment business before I sold it, one of my clients asked me to do a particular project for them, something I've never done before. And I said, we've never done it. And they said, that's all right, we'll help you. So once we did this project, we could then go market that because we had a case study. And they were really pleased with it. They got bespoke service. And I won't go into detail because it will bore you. But you'll get opportunities to try new things if you're close to them and they ask you. So it's all about supply chain management. If you are managing third party, you need to make sure they adhere to the rules, as it were, and governance is the same thing. But it's all about lemon squeezing. This is relationship building. I so appreciate if you've got someone in the middle, in the way, maybe you could apply some of this stuff, this love, to your third parties. But I understand it's difficult if you've got somebody, well, relationships of three don't really work, do they? Anyway, benefits are client retention. You will keep them. You will keep your clients. You will develop new opportunities. And you'll fill the business that comes in, won't you? Yeah? If you've got a really strong relationship, it's normally exclusive. You get more profit, obviously. And you will not divorce your client. You're highly unlikely to divorce your clients if you manage them in this way. And it also gives you more opportunities to try different things in a safe environment with them, as long as it's right for you and your business. Emma, do you have anything to add to that? As soon as you're doing the job now.
Doing the job now. No, it's just, you should never underestimate what you can actually do. We had a situation where a client had run their own ad, which is, is a disaster from our perspective. I'd seen it in the grocer, cried, because they hadn't told me about it. But the ad bombed. So we talked to them about that, and actually the solution that we came up with was we agreed that they would pay us to put that advert in front of 20 predefined people. And they paid us. We made a little profit on it. We got to do that. We then re-engaged with them and went back to adding the value that we had. So there really isn't, it's quite tempting sometimes to shut your toys out of the pram when something feels like it's gone horribly wrong within an account. But there'll always be a good reason for it. And as long as you react in a mature way, then you should be able to turn it to your advantage. It's a difficult one because you've got the balance between sticking with what's core and what you're good at. Yeah. But if you think about the art of recruitment, there's an awful lot in that you can tailor one way or another. You've got databases that you can pull salary information from. Yeah. You have to get yourself into a position where the client's going to phone you even if they haven't got a piece of business in their pocket. I've got a few clients who feel awkward contacting me if they're not contacting me to say, here's an assignment. And I go to such lengths to say, please don't feel like that. It really doesn't matter. And that's when you add your value.
And when you're being an advocate or partnership level, you're asking each other's advice. I mean, you must have clients who are friends now. Yeah, some people you would phone up and say, what do you think of this idea? That's what this helps you. It's like a structured way to get there. And it really works. Any questions or comments? How are you feeling right now? Is this all a bit too much? Are you a bit jaded or bored? Okay. Do say if you are. Right, so top tips for lemon squeezing. Have a clear business development strategy and make sure you all know it and buy into it. If you're in a team, if you're by yourself, you can do what you like, really. But have a clear strategy which says, this is the style we want to use when we're business developing. This is how we'll do account management. Client mapping is amazingly useful. So every year, look at maybe your top 20-30% clients and map them out. Where are they on the customer life cycle? This is strategic planning, really, for your customers. Where are they? Who else? Who do we know in those organisations? Who are they linked with? Do we really know them? What do they use in terms of, maybe you have 5 products or services, but they're using us for 2. Why aren't they using us for those 3? Is it they really don't need it, or have we not even asked the question? Is it about time we ask them? Do we know where their strategic goals are for the next 2 or 3 years? And do they know that we could help them there, or are they just used to us handling that? You know, just think bigger picture. Work on your clients when they're not using you for jobs. Quality audits work massively well because most people don't have them. So it really differentiates you. And I know that from working with the industry. Sharing feedback in a partnership way. So even if something's gone badly, like the client's not got back to you with feedback and your senior candidates were expecting it, tell them that's damaged their brand. Be brave, but not always. Pick your moments, maybe. And do strategic client reviews, which links into the account management. But you can do that with all your clients. It doesn't have to be big business. So this is what builds recruitment businesses, in my experience, and observing the industry and what works for quality consultants.